So good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Auslander. I teach here in the Anthropology Department, and on behalf of the organizing committee of this event, and my colleague, John Yadon, in the History Department, we'd really like to welcome you to this event. There are more people that we need to thank than we can possibly articulate. I would like to mention that the Office of the Dean of Arts and Humanities, and many other sponsors, including the Department of Anthropology, the Museum of Culture and Environment, the Department of Political Science, the Women and Gender Studies program, the World Languages program, and the Asia and Pacific Studies program have all contributed, along with many others, to make this possible. I'll also mention that we have been assisted greatly by Emi Koyama and her organization, the Feminist Network for Decolonization. And they have an information table, I believe, in the back. For those who want more information on this complex topic, they're very helpful to assist with right over there. I'll now introduce our moderator for the panel, Dr. Stacy Robertson. He's the Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities and Professor of History here at Central Washington University. She's an historian of gender, slavery, and abolitionism. She's the author of 4 books, most recently Betsy Mixed Towels, Champion of Equality. She serves as co-director of the organization Historians Against Slavery. She has strong interest in gender injustice and trafficking, past and present. And I'll now turn over everything to her, and she'll introduce our keynote speaker and the other commentators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I think we need to give a special thank you to Mark for organizing this panel, doing an enormous amount of behind-the-scenes work. And so, if you don't mind, let's give Mark a big hand. It's an honor to be here. I'm thrilled to be a part of this panel. It's an incredibly important topic, and I'm not going to spend any more time talking. I'm going to move on and introduce our speakers. We have a very tight schedule here today. We're going to try and keep very closely to this schedule, so you will see me giving countdowns to people. So I promise you will be on time, and we'll leave plenty of time for you to ask questions, which we believe is an important part of this panel today. Our keynote speaker is Dr. Bang Sung Yoon, who holds a PhD in political science from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. A professor of political science here at Central, she has published widely on gender, politics, and human rights in East Asia, and on Imperial Japan's wartime military comfort women. Her keynote address is titled Sex, the State, and the Women's Human Rights Movement, the Comfort Women Case.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very honored and happy to share with you today my research and thoughts about the Imperial Japan's sex slavery case known euphemistically as the comfort women. Since the early 1990s, I've been working on these comfort women issues from political science and the feminist perspectives and have lots to say, but given the time limit, I will just focus my talk on 3 issues. First, what makes the comfort women case so significant from an academic point of view? Human history shares that wartime rapes were common occurrences across regions and time. Occupying soldiers, troops, used rape as an effective terror tactic to keep the conquered people under control by evoking shame in addition to the pleasure function for soldiers. What makes the Japanese comfort women case is so significant? In my view, it is because it has been planned, initiated, planned, implemented by government. Second, how has the comfort women advocacy movement developed? And why is it so significant in understanding women's human rights? And who studied it, how has it proceeded, and what are the issues? The third issue is, if you look at the media or Japanese activism and so forth, the Korean women are often referred. So why are Korean comfort women, among others, in victim countries, the main target of Japanese right-wing activism? And is this the current hot political issue in East Asia and in the US as well? Before I start those 3 issues, I wanted to briefly introduce what are the comfort women systems and the people working as comfort women. Beginning with Japan's takeover of Manchuria in 1931 through the Second Sino-Japanese War and the Pacific War, an unspecified number of teenage girls and young women were taken to various Japanese occupied regions and war zones for forced sexual services to Japanese soldiers. They were called as military comfort women or comfort women. In Korea, they are better known as Jeongshinde, meaning Women's Voluntary Labor Corps, or in Japanese, Deishindaru. Because these comfort women thought they would work in factories as military nurses, kitchen helpers, and so forth. No one can precisely confirm the exact number of these victims, but estimations range between 50,000 female to 200,000 females. This estimate is based on the size of the Japanese military and the ratio of comfort women to soldiers, such as 1 comfort woman to every 29 soldiers, 30, 50, or 100 soldiers. Even the size of the Kwantung Army in Manchuria, Kim Il-myung estimated between 170,000 and 200,000 Korean women alone were victimized. One recent study in China claims that Chinese victims were about 200,000. If that is true, then there should be 400,000 women victimized. The victims were from Japan's occupied regions that stretched from Korean Peninsula to China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Philippines, and so forth. Among these, Korean women are usually considered as the major victims of the comfort women system because Korea, both south and north, undivided, was Japan's position between 1910 and 45. As more research is done in China, we may find a different composition of the comfort women's population. In terms of social backgrounds, most victims from Japan's occupied regions were young teenage girls or young women. In Korea, about 78% of the 192 surviving victims testified that when they were taken, their ages were between 14 and 19 years old, and 87% were unmarried single girls. Most of them were living with families. In case of Japanese comfort women, they, although not exclusively, seem to have been mostly professional entertainers who had already been working as prostitutes or bar girls before recruitment. In war zones, the Japanese authorities also use the local women for comfort women substitute, but in non-frontline countries such as Korea, young girls were taken into the Japanese military's comfort women system through border-crossing sex trafficking using direct and indirect state power. After Japan surrendered, those victims of such sex trafficking were either killed by Japanese military forces to erase the historical evidence, or there was systematic destruction of official documents, again to erase the evidence after the Japan's surrender. Or comfort women were simply abandoned in their destination service area in foreign countries, I mean. So what's so significant about the Japanese military comfort woman system? War rapes are usually considered as spontaneously, sporadically occurring violence and isolated incidences in armed conflict regions. Individual soldiers' carnal behaviors or motivations are the prime targets of criticism. State role is assumed to focus on regulatory areas. Order soldiers not to rape the women of occupied region or punish the soldiers, etc. Although the military's role may have been more than in such passive and reactive roles.